Bhajendu sir,
Yeah.
I think this is a right file, no implementation of NAP.
Yes. The file is right, but madam's computer is showing older file.
Okay.
But she is sharing this file. I don't know how this problem is happening.
Okay, let me continue. Background. Okay, we are going to discuss about implementation 2020. I think I submitted my topic as a role of teachers, but let me talk about role of teachers and institutions, because sometimes the role of the institution, when we talk about role of the institution, then it is the teachers, okay, who do it. But sometimes when the teachers are the ones who do it, that it goes in the name of the institution. So I'll take both. Now, the main thrust of NEP 2020 in higher education is to end the fragmentation of higher education by transforming higher education institutions into large multidisciplinary universities, colleges, and higher education institution clusters, knowledge hubs, each of which will aim to have 3,000 or more students. Okay, so we have talked about the challenges being faced in our higher education. So the first big challenge that we are facing is severe fragmentation of higher education system. So NEP main thrust is to end this fragmentation and to transform higher education institutions into large multidisciplinary, okay, institutions, which will aim to have 3,000 or more students. Now, under this NEP 2020, the types of higher education institutions envisaged are multidisciplinary research intensive universities. Then second, multidisciplinary teaching intensive universities. Then degree awarding multidisciplinary autonomous colleges. Okay, we have talked about the existing higher education, the existing types of higher education institutions, the existing types of universities in our country. But now, when NEP 2020 is implemented, then we will have only two types of universities: research intensive, multidisciplinary research intensive universities and multidisciplinary teaching intensive universities. So now we are having unitary universities, affiliating universities, federal universities. So there are institutions of national importance and others deemed to be universities and all. But now, according to NEP 2020, okay, all these different types, names, okay, will disappear, and we will have only two types of universities. Okay, both will be multidisciplinary, and the one will be research intensive, and the second one teaching intensive. Then in our existing system, we have three main types of colleges: affiliated colleges, constituent colleges, autonomous colleges. But when NEP 2020 is fully implemented, we will have only one type of, that means NEP 2020 is envisioning, okay, the degree awarding multidisciplinary autonomous colleges as the main type of colleges. But according to NEP 2020, those who cannot become qualified for autonomous colleges, then they may become constant college of universities. That means affiliated colleges will disappear, and most of the colleges will be degree awarding multidisciplinary autonomous colleges, and there will be some colleges which are constituent colleges of universities. Okay. Now, I have taken some selected roles of teachers and institutions in the implementation of NEP 2020. Because roles, if we are to consider all those important ones, they can be many. So I have selected some roles to be discussed today. Now, first thing is transformation of our existing higher education institutions into multidisciplinary higher education institutions. Now, how to transform our existing higher education institutions into multidisciplinary HAIS? As per UGC guidelines for transforming HAIS into multidisciplinary institutions 2022, different types of HAIS will have to perform the following roles so that they can be transformed. Now, the first option available is under the collaborative arrangement. Single stream institutions can integrate their programs with those of nearby multidisciplinary institutions to enhance their programs. Okay, single stream institutions. We have looked into some statistics as per AC report. So particularly at college level, there are many institutions which are single discipline institutions, like be it college only, engineering college only, medical college only, veterinary college only, agricultural college only, like that, so on and so forth. So these single stream institutions can integrate their programs with those of nearby multidisciplinary institutions to enhance their program. And in turn, the multidisciplinary HAIS may also seek collaboration in case they are willing to expand further by adding more programs. Now, two institutions can collaborate for the award of dual degree, which facilitates students enrolled in an HAIS to take up the first degree at the host institution and the second degree at the partnering institution. Okay, so two institutions can collaborate for the award of dual degree. That means so students can take admission in both institutions to get dual degree. So in one institution, they will take admission and they will take admission for one program. And in another institution, they can take admission for another program. So that means the two institutions will collaborate. Okay. If they collaborate their programs, then they will become multidisciplinary. Then the third option is single stream institutions and multidisciplinary institutions with poor enrollment can improve enrollment by becoming members of cluster or by offering multidisciplinary programs. Now, it is required that its higher education institutions will become multidisciplinary. They will have to offer multidisciplinary programs. Not only that, they will have to increase enrollment at least to 3,000. Okay, these are the two main things. So by becoming multidisciplinary and also by increasing enrollment, okay, they will be transformed into multidisciplinary higher education institutions. So both single stream institutions and multidisciplinary institutions with poor enrollment, we particularly, that's true at the college level. I have shown you the statistic that in our country, only 4% of our colleges have enrollment of 3,000 or more. Only 4%. That means 96%, okay, do not meet the requirement of 3,000 enrollment. So they will have to do a number of things. How can they become multidisciplinary? How can they increase the number of their enrollment? So they can become cluster, okay? They can become members of cluster institutions. So if they become clusters, then all the programs offered by them will be taken together. Then enrollment can be counted together and they will form a cluster and they will act as one institution. So in that way, they can fulfill, okay, the criteria for becoming multidisciplinary and for increasing and for meeting the minimum requirement of enrollment. Then institutions functioning under same management may merge to put the academic and physical resources to optimal use and to offer multidisciplinary education. Okay, institutions functioning under the same management. For example, state government institutions, okay, they can merge, no problem. Then private institutions, for example, some private organizations run a number of institutions. Okay, so churches also run institutions. There are other, private organizations or companies running institutions. If they are under the same management, they may merge. Okay, so their academic programs can be merged. Then physical resources, okay, will be merged, means they will be commonly used. Okay, so in that way, they can fulfill the requirement to become multidisciplinary. And a private institution may merge with a single stream institution or multidisciplinary institution of another registered society. What is this? Or trust with the approval of the affiliating university. Okay, a private institution also may merge with a single stream institution or multidisciplinary institution of another registered society. Okay, so that means institutions functioning under different managements also may merge. Okay, if they make some memorandum of understanding with the approval of the affiliating university. So by following this or by taking any of these options, now colleges, which are not that large, okay, can become large and can become multidisciplinary. Then again, CASE will have to strengthen themselves by adding departments in subjects such as languages, literature, music, philosophy, Indology, art, dance, theater, education, mathematics, statistics, pure and applied sciences, sociology, economics, sports, translation, and interpretation of other subjects as needed for a multidisciplinary institution. Okay. Now, this is as per the recommendation of NEP 2020. NEP 2020 envisions that these departments can be added to existing HACE so that they can become multidisciplinary. Okay, besides that, role of the teachers and institutions as student induction programs, conducting student induction programs is the important role to be played by teachers or institutions. Now, firstly, students will need orientation about new opportunities. Now, with the NEP 2020 bringing in a series of reforms such as multidisciplinary education, multiple entry and exit, academic banks of credits, etc., students entering the portals of higher education need to be oriented about the available opportunities. Okay. Now, number of students will be large in the country. Okay, all the students will have to do something, and it is the duty of the institutions, teachers therein, to orient the students about these new opportunities, how they will go about, what options are there before them. Okay, so if they happen to exit before completion of the course to which they take admission, then what certificate or what diploma or what degree they can exit with. Then what is academic banks of credit? How can they accumulate their credits? How can they withdraw their credits? Then how all these things, okay, students need to be made aware, and orientation need to be given to all the students. And students also need to enter the portals of higher education, and in this they need to be given some orientation. And then again, orientation about credit mobility between institutions. So students again can need to be aware of credit transfer and all this. So HACE need to register. Okay, what institutions have to do is they first of all need to register in the ABC and also to orient students on credit mobility. Now, to become eligible for registration in the academic bank of credit, colleges, to be able to register themselves need first of all to be autonomous. Okay, but those which are not yet autonomous, since they are affiliated to some universities, then the affiliating university will register themselves, and through there, the students will be able to have credit mobility, credit transfer and all. So when they become autonomous, when they fulfill the criteria to become autonomous, then they can register themselves, and they will have their separate portal and all. So, students need to be oriented about all these things. Again, so it is the duty of the institution, the teachers, to orient the students. Then orientation about online and ODL mode of education. NEP 2020 has set the ambitious target of achieving 50% by 2035. Okay, 50% GR by 2035. Now, according to IC report 2019 to 2020, GR in higher education is 27.1, and from there by 2035, the country is aiming to achieve 50% of GR. Now, to achieve this target, higher education needs to be imparted in multiple ways, including online and open distance learning modes. Because in our regular program, only, there are many students who cannot take admission due to limited seats, or they may have some problems from their side also to get admission into a regular program. So if we depend only on the regular mode of education, then it will be difficult for the country to achieve 50% of GR by 2035 also. So to achieve this target of GR, then we have to impart higher education to different modes. So online modes, some students have to be admitted in the online courses, online distance courses. So teachers and institutions can need to orient the students about online courses recognized by UGC, including those available in the Swayam portal. Okay, now third one is capacity building for faculty, because we are going to follow a new route in achieving quality in higher education. So we cannot follow all the same procedures. There will be many new things. And as multidisciplinary degree programs are punctuated with internship, then community service and engagement, skill courses, KHs need to orient their teachers on this. And they also need to give them opportunities to attend orientation course, refresher course, annual refresher program in teaching, RPIT, etc. And teachers need to undergo them with zeal and enthusiasm for further professional development. Okay, so this is also again the role to be played by institutions, higher education institutions. Okay, they need to give teachers the opportunity to undergo further professional development. Now, inculcation of values in students is the duty of the teachers, and it is the role, institutions and teachers have some roles to play in this. Now, in NEP 2020, value-based education has been made an integral part of its policy. So EGC has made the draft guidelines, Mulya Prava, inculcation of human values and professional ethics in higher education institutions. Here, teachers will have to act as a role model for students by displaying good conduct, set a standard of dress, speech, and behavior worthy of example to the students, observe punctuality in teaching and other duties, exhibit decent behavior with all, refrain from harassment of students in any form, actively participate in institutional development, refrain from any type of discrimination, inculcate human values, scientific outlook, and concern for the environment among students and others. Okay, these are the duties of the teachers, okay, on inculcation of values among the students. And besides this also there are, okay, some more duties, but okay, I have not taken all. These are the selected roles that teachers have to play in the inculcation of values among students. Now, another thing is creation of optimal learning environments. Now, in order to promote creativity, institutions and faculty will have the autonomy to innovate, to innovate. So this is the heart of autonomous status. As I have said, I have made a mention that for colleges to become autonomous, teachers, institutions will have to be innovative. So their roles will be to develop interesting and relevant curricula and to update them regularly to meet specified learning outcomes. So when colleges, now universities have, as I've said, have some degree of autonomy, all of us. So we can develop courses. We can develop curriculum, courses of studies and all, then syllabus and all. Okay, we have the freedom to develop all this. So when colleges become autonomous, okay, they will have the freedom, autonomy to develop their own courses. So it will be their duty to develop interesting and relevant curricula and also to update them regularly to meet specified learning outcomes. Then to practice high quality pedagogy, emphasizing on communication, discussion, debate, research, and opportunities for cross-disciplinary and interdisciplinary thinking, thus directly influencing learning outcomes. So it is the duty of the teachers, the institutions, to create these optimal learning environments. And then they have to apply scientific assessment methods designed to continuously improve learning and test the application of knowledge. Ensure development of capacities that promote student wellness, such as fitness, good health, psychosocial well-being, and sound ethical grounding that are critical for high-quality learning. So to create optimal learning environment, teachers also have to be innovative in designing the curriculum, then in their pedagogy, in the method of teaching, then assessment methods, and development of capacities and all this. Okay, support for students. Okay, again is the role of the institutions and teachers. So institutions will have to give support to students, by having counseling services, career guidance to help them decide their occupational choices, placement assistance to set up interactions with potential employers, and efficient mechanism for grievance handling and or redressal. And then another role is research and teaching collaboration and faculty exchanges. As NEP 2020 plans to facilitate this with high-quality foreign institutions, HAYS in the country will have to sign relevant mutually beneficial MOUs with foreign countries. And the role of teachers will thus be extended to serving foreign institutions under research or teaching collaborations and faculty exchange programs. Now, excellence in higher education. Okay, this is to be brought about. And here, to bring about excellence in higher education, institutions, teachers have some roles to play. So NEP 2020 has a plan to incentivize excellence through appropriate rewards, promotions, recognitions, and movement into institutional leadership. Okay, through this, it tries to bring about excellence in higher education. So for this, teachers will have to work hard, which will further lead to excellence in higher education. So bringing about excellence in higher education is the duty of the institutions also. So teachers, okay, will have to work hard to get those incentives which will further bring about excellence in higher education. Then conducting researches through funding from NRF. This will be the duty, okay, of the teachers. NEP 2020 envisions the establishment of a National Research Foundation, which will competitively fund research in all disciplines. Now, university and college teachers will have to seek funding from NRF and conduct researches. Now, in our existing system, we mostly concentrate on the disciplines or the subject in which we are in. Okay, so the system also does not permit that much, okay, for conducting research in other discipline or subject. But now, when NEP 2020 is implemented, teachers will no more have to concentrate only on their subject or discipline in research, but give more emphasis on interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary researches. Now, maintenance of websites will be very, very important when NEP 2020 is fully implemented, because it envisions transforming the regulatory system of higher education by setting up of Higher Education Commission of India, under which 4 vertical bodies will be there. So the first vertical of HEC will be the National Higher Education Regulatory Council. So let us look at this figure. So NEP 2020 envisions the setting up of Higher Education Commission of India, which will be an empowered commission. Actually, NEP 2020 does not write details about this HEC, okay, how it will function, how it will be set up. It does not write that much in detail, but I think there will be a committee to work out again on how this will be constituted and how it will exactly function. Actually, when I discuss about the challenges of higher education, I made mention, I think, about the regulatory system of our higher education. Yeah. Now, in our existing higher education system, UGC has a number of functions. UGC is the funding authority. UGC is again standard setting body. Okay. Now, UGC occupies a very, very important position in our higher education. And apart from UGC, we have a number of regulatory bodies, like 4 different streams of studies. For example, AICTE for engineering and technology, okay, management and all. then NCTE for teacher education and others. Then, so we have a number of regulatory councils, okay? Council of Architecture, Nursing Council of India, Pharmacy Council of India, okay, Bar Council of India, Education Council. So on and so forth. We have a number of regulatory authorities, okay, which gives regulations for those subjects and disciplines under them. But there is no proper coordination between them. And, experts in higher education used to think that this is our weakness. This is a challenge. So again, I used to make a mention of National Knowledge Commission. So again, National Knowledge Commission, way back in 2016, in the report on higher education, recommended the constitution of a separate regulatory authority for higher education. That means to replace all these regulatory bodies, UGC, AICT, NCT, so on and so forth, okay? Having regulatory authority over different streams of studies. So they recommend that independent authority for higher education. And, in 2009, okay, I have said about the committee constituted by Government of India under the chairmanship of Professor Aizawl. So that committee was given the responsibility to work out how that independent regulatory authority for higher education would be constituted and would function. So that committee proposed the name Higher Education National Education Commission for Higher Education and Research. Because NKC did not exactly give the name. They simply proposed that an independent regulatory authority be constituted for higher education. So Aizawl committee proposed the name National Higher Education Commission. No, a National Education Commission for Higher Education and Research. So the committee, Aizawl committee, proposed that this will be a very powerful committee or commission, which will be set up in the just like Election Commission of India, okay, which will be independent from government, so that they cannot be politically influenced. Then the functions also, they propose different types of functions for this commission. Then before it was made into reality, in the parliament also, they made some proposal to make the bill, but there were some criticisms from different corners also, because it was not welcomed by those existing regulatory bodies. For example, Bar Council of India. I remember that Bar Council of India opposed the proposed bill, and they convened some agitation, and Mizoram chapter also joined them that time, I remember. Then after some time, the bill was withdrawn. But, in 2004, the new government was formed under No, 2014. The new government was formed under the prime ministership of Mr. Narendra Modi. Then the first MHRD minister was Srimati Smriti Irani. So during her ministership, there was proposal. They proposed the constitution of this again, that independent regulatory for higher education, but they proposed another name, okay, which was a little bit different from the ones proposed by Aizawl committee. And then Smriti Irani was replaced by Sri Prakash Javadekar as MHRD minister. Again, during his time, they proposed a little bit different name for constitution of this independent regulatory for higher education. Okay, HIRA. I don't remember the full form. Okay, so in that way, this constitution of separate regulatory authority for higher education have been proposed a number of times in our country. But before they were made into reality, the new education policy came into being. So in the National Education Policy 2020, a proposal has been made for the constitution of Higher Education Commission of India. So these under these four vertical bodies will function. Now they will function for different purposes. The first one, National Higher Education Regulatory Council. As the name implies, okay, they will take care of a regulatory function. They will do regulatory function, which is now being taken up by different regulatory bodies. For example, for general education, UGC is the regulatory council for general courses. For engineering courses, AICTE is the regulatory council. For teacher education, NCTE is the regulatory council, so on and so forth. But now, when NEP 2020 is implemented, all these regulatory bodies will no more be regulatory bodies. So regulatory function will be taken by National Higher Education Regulatory Council alone. So these the present regulatory bodies like AICTE, NCTE, and others, okay, will become professional standard setting bodies only. They will be no more regulatory bodies. They will no more regulate, okay, higher education. Now this National Higher Education Regulatory Council will regulate higher education in the country through data uploaded in the websites. That means all the institutions will be required to upload detailed data about the institution in the website. And websites will be maintained, okay, by this National Higher Education Regulatory Council, and also will be maintained by the concerned institution in their websites. So in this regard, the important role of the institutions as well as the teachers will be, okay, preparation of detailed data about their institution, okay, to be uploaded in the website. So they will have to prepare those data and submit those detailed data, okay, everything, audit reports, finances, everything, physical infrastructure, teachers, qualifications, courses, okay, very detailed data about the institutions will have to be prepared, and this will have to be submitted to NHERC, and this NHERC will maintain the website, and in that website, data of all the institutions will be uploaded. Then its institution will also have to upload this data in the institutional website. So institutional websites as well as the websites maintained by NHERC will be visited by many. And if any false report is given, it will be detected by anybody, okay, visiting the websites. So all the students, all the alumni, all the parents, public, okay, will become inspectors of the institution through their websites. So NHERC also will regulate the institutions through data uploaded in the websites. That is why, okay, now also different institutions, colleges, universities, all of us have our own website. But data uploaded in our websites are not detailed, okay? Many data regarding our institutions are missing. We cannot exactly trace important things about the institution from the website. But when these are constituted and become functional, then each institution will be required to upload detailed data about the institution, including finances, financial probity, audit reports, everything, okay, will have to be uploaded. So regulation will be done through this. So important role of the institutions as well as the teachers will be to prepare detailed data about the institution, institutional data report, and all this. Then teachers data, okay, everything, and to upload this, to submit this for uploading, or to upload this data in the website maintained by NHERC as well as by the respective institutions. Okay, then the next vertical body will be National Accreditation Council. A National Accreditation Council. Now, this is different from the present NAC. Our present NAC is NAAC, National Assessment and Accreditation Council. Okay. Now, this body will be National Accreditation Council. So assessment is missing, okay? But it will be a body, a council at the national level. And under this, different institutions will register themselves, okay, for assessment work. So institutions registered for this will be, they can be many. Okay, now it appears that NAC's responsibility is so big and so overburdened. They are so overburdened because the number of institutions, as we have seen, is so large. So all the, for example, 1,043 universities, 42,343 colleges. Okay, all are to be assessed and accredited by NAC, Bangalore alone. So the work is so heavy. So I think the work is so heavy, and the requirement for teachers, faculty for assessment and accreditation may be so high, okay? Because I have received, and number of requests every now and then. Okay, I have been asked to update my data, my availability, calendar and all. So I have never done that. But every now and then, sometimes even if I do not that, they appoint me for NAC inspection here and there. Okay, I used to decline here and there. So once I have gone once only when I was appointed for inspection in the Northeast. So when it is far away, I used to say that I cannot go. Then I have gone once only. Now, every now and then, okay, I have been included in the inspection team to inspect this and that, okay, in different states, different places. So what makes me think is that maybe the requirement of teachers to become part of NAC inspection may be so high that I have been requested, even if I do not update my availability calendar, and even if I do not respond many times, okay, they just put me in the peer team member, or sometimes they call me over telephone. So I'm thinking that the need, okay, for teachers to get involved in this NAC assessment and accreditation may be so high, because as I have shown you the statistical data, the number of institutions is so large. Okay, so all these institutions have to be assessed and accredited, and as per NEP 2020, or when NEP 2020 is implemented, when this HC is constituted, and when these vertical bodies are set up, then this National Accreditation Council will be the council at the national level, and under these different institutions will get registration to become approved institution to do assessment of higher education institutions. And in that, for institutions to become eligible for higher status of autonomy, okay, NAC accreditation, good accreditation is required. Now also among the universities, although we all have some degree of autonomy, the degree of autonomy is different based on the accreditation, the points that we get in NAC accreditation. Okay, so for colleges to become multidisciplinary autonomous college, one important step that they have to fulfill is to get A grade accreditation in NAC assessment. A grade. Okay. Now, among the colleges, getting A grade accreditation may be not large in number. So, majority of colleges in our country might have gotten B or C grade. Okay, but to become multidisciplinary autonomous college, a college has to get A grade accreditation. So if we look into our condition, okay, we have seen that many colleges are single discipline colleges, and those many colleges have enrollment less than 100. And only 4% of colleges in our country have enrollment of 3,000 or more. That means colleges are also not that big. They are not that multidisciplinary, and they are not that good. They are not that big. If they are not that big, then not only student, but faculty will be less. Then infrastructure, facilities, okay, will be up to the mark, will not be up to the mark. Okay, all this, what it signify? Okay, it is not possible for them to get A grade accreditation. That is why, first of all, they will have to take action to become multidisciplinary and large. Okay, so only after that it will become easier for them to get A grade accreditation. And without this A grade NAAC accreditation, colleges cannot become autonomous. So what is the role of the institutions and the teachers, okay, to get A grade accreditation in NAAC assessment? And if they are not yet qualified, they have to do something to become qualified, to make themselves becoming more multidisciplinary, to increase their enrollment, or to collaborate with other institutions, or to become members of cluster colleges, or a cluster college, members of a cluster college. So in that way, they have to do these things. Then another vertical body under HESI will be Higher Education Grants Council. Okay, Higher Education Grants Council. Now, funding again is done by ECC in our existing system. But when these things are constituted and set up as per the recommendation of NEP 2020, Higher Education Grants Council will be set up, which will be responsible for funding of higher education institutions. And for this, what is important? Okay, role of the teachers and institutions, important role of teachers and institutions to get grants and also to get good NAAC accreditation is to develop institutional development plan. So it's in higher education institution will have to develop institutional development plan. And this plan, okay, should be made, should be prepared, okay, very carefully, because this will be the base on which institutions, higher education institutions will be given grants, will be funded. Then this institutional development plan also will have something to do with NAAC accreditation also. So the role of the institutions as well as the teachers is to prepare good institutional development plan. Okay, so this HEZC, okay, will be responsible to fund higher education institutions. So funding will be based on the institutional development plan. Then there is another body, General Education Council, okay, which will be responsible for standard setting for higher education. Standards will be set by this council. Now, in our existing system, the first the function of the first council, NHERC and HGC funding and General Education Council, which will be responsible for standard setting. Okay, all these functions, regulatory function, funding function, standard setting function, all these three functions are now being done by EZC. And NAAC actually, National Assessment and Accreditation Council was also in the beginning a part of a branch or a part of EZC, but now it has become independent. So in that way, in our existing system of higher education, EZC is almost all in all. But when NEP 2020 is implemented, okay, it appears that the name EZC will be no more. So the function of the existing EZC will be distributed to these three councils. So General Education Council, when it is set up, they will prescribe norms and standards for academic programs. Then they will set up okay, they will prepare expected learning outcomes, okay, also referred to as graduate attributes. Then they will formulate a national higher education qualification framework in sync with the national skill qualifications framework to ease the integration of vocational education into higher education. Okay, so in that way, okay, the duty or the role that institutions and teachers will have to play is fulfillment of those expected learning outcomes, okay, to be formulated by GEC, General Education Council. So fulfillment, they will lay down, okay, standards, graduate attributes, expected learning outcomes, everything, and fulfillment, okay, of this as the duty of the teachers as well as the institutions. Then integration of technology in education is another role to be played by teachers and institutions because NEP 2020 envisions the emergence of new technologies involving artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchains, smart boards, handheld computing devices, adaptive computer testing for student development, and other forms of educational software and hardware. So in this context, teachers will need to conduct extensive research, both on the technological as well as educational fronts, and improve themselves in the use and integration of ICT in education. So each teacher will have to improve, okay, himself, herself in the use and integration of ICT in education. So HACE shall also need appropriate educational infrastructure in terms of e-resources, audiovisual facilities, virtual classrooms and studios, and specifically high bandwidth internet connectivity. To deliver courses through various modes such as open and distance learning, online education, and face-to-face. Okay, these are the important roles that institutions as well as the teachers will have to play. Now, my conclusion. Okay, Now, successful implementation of NEP 2020 lies mostly in the hands of higher education institutions and teachers therein. Okay, with this, I will conclude my speech, my delivery of lecture. Then again, I think there is enough time for interaction. Now I will hand over the time for interaction.
Yeah, dear participant, now whatever the question you have, please put up in the question box, a message box, or question and answer box, so that Honorable Madam can give the react, give the her views on that question. Please do fast whatever you want, any clarification, anything. Prasenjit Roy, you are asking, no, you are just give the message, there are various shortfalls in the colleges. We don't understand what you actually want to ask.
The
So
question
please
is just before that, Manoj.
Okay.
How to cope with this shortage of resources while delivering NEP orientation education? How to cope with shortage of resources?
Shortage of what?
How to cope with shortage of resources?
Resources. Okay. That is a question.
Yes, yes.
How to
From
cope?
Dr. Prasenjit Roy.
Shortage of resources. Shortage of resources.
Yeah,
Yes.
he saying in colleges resources are very limited. How we can implement NEP with limited resources? What I understand.
Okay. Okay. This depending upon the management of the institutions. Okay, the responsibility will lie in the hands of different people. Naturally. Okay, for government colleges, for government institutions, state government, okay, colleges, then state government will be responsible in providing those resources. Then, for example, with the existing resources also, okay, for example, if the institutions are under the collaboration, or if institutions are clustered, then their resources, existing resources will be combined. So, for example, now when they function separately, so government provides some resources to its institution. But when they become members of cluster college, then all the facilities also will have to become common. For example, one institution has one important resource which other colleges do not have. Then another college will have another important resource that other colleges will not have. In that way, okay, they will share their resources, because the resources, the facilities available in one institution, also when they become members of cluster college, so it will be open for the students of other colleges, faculty members of other colleges also. In that way, okay, there will be more proper utilization of available resources and facilities. And apart from that, there may be some resources and facilities absent even after institutions are clustered or collaborated. where that thing only, state government can provide. It will be the responsibility of the state government to provide that. But with respect to institutions under the management of private organizations, again, the managing board, okay, will have to think of how to provide those resources and physical and facilities, academic facilities required by the institutions to become eligible for autonomous status. And as I have shown you, there is also a provision for institutions under private management also, okay, to collaborate with other institutions, okay, which are under the same management or with management with colleges under different management. Also, there is a possibility for making collaboration. So when institutions become multidisciplinary and collaborated or clustered, okay, so again, resources can be shared, can become common. So that will solve a number of problems, okay, being faced. And apart from that, state government or management committee, in the case of private, those institutions and the private management, okay, will become responsible to provide those important resources and facilities.
Madam, another participant, Nasifa, is asking, can you explain how practically we are going to merge institutions?
How we?
Merging of institutions.
Merging of teachers.
Institutions.
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 Merging.
Merging, yes.
Okay, merging of institutions. Different options are there, no? That merging. For example, now, for example, in the case of Mizoram, it will be difficult to cluster or merge different institutions in one place. It may be difficult, okay, because site is a problem, campus is a problem, big campus, okay, which will accommodate, okay, those 3,000 or more students, okay, with those facilities in one place may be a problem. So institutions will function as members of cluster college. For example, there is also an option for collaboration of nearby institutions. For example, single stream institution can collaborate with nearby multidisciplinary institution. So looking into the proximity, okay, then arrangement can be made. For example, single stream institution here in Mizoram, we have IASE and DIET offering teacher education programs. And NEP 2020 gives so much importance to teacher education program. And as per its recommendation, colleges, different higher education institutions, Department of Education will be established, and teacher education program, particularly ITEP, Integrated Teacher Education Program, offering BA BEd or BSc BEd, okay, will be offered. So single stream institution will not be allowed. So for example, IASE will have to be collaborated with other multidisciplinary college. Maybe, the building may not be shifted. Shifting of the building will be not economical, difficult. So they will remain maybe in their college, but they will have common students, okay? For example, BA BEd, BSc BEd, if students are admitted for this. Then students will do BA in another multidisciplinary college and be at part only in ISSE, they will function as one college. And maybe it will be, I think, in my personal opinion, it will be wise to give a different name of the college to function as one college, to be registered as a single college. So these different colleges will not be able to carry their names. So a new name will have to be given to these collaborated colleges. So, for example, BSc, if students are admitted for BSc B.Ed, then students may do BSc part in the college where science is offered. Then they will do B.Ed part in ISE because infrastructure facilities are already in place. So shifting all these and putting the college in one place will be a problem. Okay, so space is also a problem. So campus, setting up of new campus is a problem. So they will function under the name of one college. That is my personal opinion. Then some colleges also may function as cluster college. So different colleges, okay, they will be given a new name, the cluster college name, and all of them will become part of this. Okay, I think the state government also will have to think in such a way that after clustering or after collaborating colleges into one, they will be able to fulfill the requirement of becoming multidisciplinary, as well as to fulfill the minimum, at least the minimum requirement of enrollment. So in that way, arrangement can be made.
Madam, another participant, Sadiq Ahmad, he wants to know if PAC is going to be irrelevant under NEP. PAC, it might be, I think, provisional accreditation of colleges for colleges.
Okay.
Provisional accreditation for colleges, most probably PAC he has mentioned, is going to be irrelevant under NEP.
Okay, please repeat. I don't get it.
Okay. I am reading that line. Madam, you have mentioned 4 regulatory body, including NAC. Whether PAC is irrelevant in NEP. PAC.
PhD.
PAC, provisional accreditation for colleges.
Oh, provisional affiliation of colleges.
Yes.
Actually, in NEP 2020, there is no affiliation of colleges. Affiliation means, okay, after affiliation is there, okay, after colleges become autonomous also, then the university to which they were previously affiliated, okay, will remain their parent university. Okay, they will remain their parent university. For example, for colleges affiliated to Mizoram University, Mizoram University will remain a parent university for a number of years, because in the beginning, autonomous status will be given for a specific year. Maybe I don't remember, according to the proposal, 6 years or 10 years, I'm not sure now. Okay, so in the beginning, then even if they are autonomous, they will not have the power to confer degrees. So it will be the university, Mizoram University, which will award the degrees, but names of the colleges will appear in the mark sheet and certificate. Then after that autonomous status period, okay, before autonomous status period is over, then I think that autonomous colleges will have to apply for the status again for extension or renewal. Okay, so if they are still found eligible, then they will be given autonomous status for another term. Then so far, my knowledge is concerned, if I'm not mistaken, after 3 continuous term of autonomous status, then after that, autonomous college also will be given the power to award degrees in their names. So some provisions are made on how to go about. So they will remain affiliated, but I don't know, provisional, temporary, permanent, and all. Okay, these things are not yet in the guidelines. Exactly how affiliation will be given, these things, I think details are not yet written in the guidelines.
Okay, so I think we may stop here, ma'am. We have given all the answers to the queries participants has posted. And last 2 sessions was very informative for us because NEP is a new thing which we are experiencing now. I already had attended some of your sessions, live sessions in the university itself. But now our participants also got an opportunity to discuss with you and listen to you. So thank you, ma'am, for sparing your valuable time this morning. And thanks for joining us.
Okay.
So with this, we end the session now.
Okay, thank you, all of
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, ma'am.
Actually, there are some questions posted. We did not look at it, no?
Questions I have taken, madam.
Okay, you have taken. Okay.
Yeah, yes, yes.
But
Oh,
some...
okay, one more question is there. One more question came last. How exit option in NAP will be implemented if a 4-year PG course a student exits in first year with certificate? So how his or she would be employed? So he will not be getting graduation, he will be getting a certificate course only. So he will be employed considering that education only, that level. I feel so.
Okay. So a student, for example, is admitted into a 4-year easy course or program, but a student exits after completing 1 year, 2 semesters. Then she or he will exit with a certificate. And the certificate or diploma or degree will have equivalency as per that national vocational qualification skill framework or something like that. Okay, I think that will determine how for what they can get employment. And when the new system is in place, okay, then government as well as private company which recruit students for employment, they may also have to modify the eligibility criteria, okay, for minimum requirement to get this and that type of job. Okay, now it is not yet implemented, but when it is fully implemented, okay, then terms used for certificate, degrees will become different. So accordingly, I think government as well as companies or private bodies recruiting people for employment will have to change their eligibility criteria. Then the value of a credit, the value of diploma, the value of degree, okay, also will have to be judged from the equivalency, okay, as per that skills qualification framework, national skill qualification framework or something like that. That is already given in the NEP guidelines. Yeah, this is my answer to that
Okay,
question.
okay. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
So
So,
thanks once
Madam,
again for
now I
joining.
think every question has been answered. So we complete the sessions, Madam. Now you can leave, Madam.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam.